We do.
All right.
Roger, New York. Let's
Let
go
me know
Knicks,
when
10
we
and
are
0.
up and running.
When you're ready.
All right. Good evening, everybody. I'd like to call to order the North Canton City Council meeting, April 26th, 2021. The time is 7 p.m. Mark, Dominic, would you like to lead us in prayer?
I can, unless Mark has one ready.
Go ahead, Dom. No.
Okay, let's get ready to go then, everybody. Thanks for joining this beautiful evening here in North Canton, Ohio. Lord, thank you for the opportunity to serve our community and discern what's right, what's wrong, or what's the best of our ability that we can do to do the right thing for our city and our constituents. And as we move forward in the spirit of unity, let us all bow our heads and say, "Come, Lord Jesus, be our guest. Let thy gifts to us be blessed." Amen.
Amen. All right. Thank you, Dom. At this time, if you would please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Thank you. All right, Ben, at this time, would you please call the roll?
Member Soretta.
Here.
Member Foltz.
Here.
Member Fonte.
Here.
Member Peters.
Here.
Member Revolt.
Here.
Member Stroya.
Here.
And Member Warren.
Here.
7 present.
All right. Thank you, Ben. All right. At this time, for your consideration, I need a motion and a second to approve as presented. Minutes from April 5th, 2021, Committee of the Whole.
Motion to approve as presented by Foltz.
Second, Warren.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? All right. Motion passes. All right. At this time, Ben, I'm going to turn it over to you. We have recognition of the public. Just a quick reminder, we have a 5-minute time limit. If you're looking at your screen, the clock is on the screen. I will give you a heads up at 30 seconds. So, Ben, I'll turn it over to you.
All right, our first speaker tonight is Mr. Joseph Mulqueen. Mr. Mulqueen, are you there?
How are we doing?
When you're ready, sir.
Hello, my name is Joseph Mulqueen. I'm a property taxpayer at 1016 Park Avenue Northeast, also a Suffolk County Police FOP lifetime card member, thanks to my uncle, Sergeant Richard Dotrey, or whatever. I'm disabled. I have a hard time pronouncing names, but I'm here to talk about one thing and one thing only, about how Dogwood Skate Park matters. Why does Dogwood Skate Park matter? It's the only skate park in Stark and Summit County without gang activity. I saw spray paint up there. I did the right thing. We're getting these gangs out. We're getting illegals' guns out. And how about instead of Catherine messaging me on Facebook via the Dogwood Skatebook Facebook, how about we do an email to Vans, to Steve Van Doren, a famous entrepreneur from California who would love to invest into Vans. Who would love to help invest into Dogwood and turn it into a Vans skate park. And we can also help create a scholarship for kids, because I'm working with somebody in the University of North Carolina who's working on new state-of-the-art quantum science fairs, and he sent up 3 sets for me to donate to kids at the park. And he doesn't want to give away product. He just wants to help do a scholarship for kids, because that's what kids need the most right now, is they need college education. And I'm here to make sure that these kids get a college education that I once flew. And as I'm recovering from alcoholism, this is the best way I know how to honor my father, as I also help take care of my Vietnam veteran neighbor, Ray. And my friend in New York has to get the same testing for pancreatic cancer that my dad got. So all I ask for is a simple peace of mind while I help take care of some people with cancer and help better this town. And I think this town could be helped better with a Vans outlet store, some type of Vans manufacturing at the Hoover Company, because if my great uncle Denny, who started his business at the Hartville Flea Market, was able to own the Flower Factory, a business in Michigan. He went to China, and he also owned North Canton Real Estate, the Hoover Company, the first time. Diebold Nixdorf's now over there, so, it's not too far-fetched to say that we can bring back maybe American shoe manufacturing in North End, like how this town was once famous for, Hoover vacuums, and that went to Mexico. So I'm just here trying to help create jobs for kids that's better than flipping burgers, because I think them working at a Vans store or some type of nonprofit skate shop where we don't have to worry about wise guys embezzling money into drugs and putting illegal guns on the street would probably be best for our skate scene for the next 50 years, so kids learn how to be a college-educated professor and not a freaking stupid street criminal. So, you know, I'm just trying to turn my life around with the help of Jesus Christ and North Canton Chapel, so I want to start outdoor first and let's go indoor, because the biggest problem with Stark County was Evolution Skate Park, where Justin Carl used to get me drunk underage with Kyle Scott and a whole bunch of other North Canton kids, and that essentially led to Grant Samblant committing suicide. So there's a substance abuse problem because adults are getting people like me who are minors drunk, and we're not doing that at Dogwood. My uncle raised me better than that. My dad raised me better than that. Mark Soretta raised me better than that as a neighbor, and the former chief of police, mayor, raised me better than that, and his nephew's better than that. So I'm just here to help, you know, make sure the mayor's grandkids have a nice new park like I was able and given in 2002. And funny enough, Cody Green, who was featured in the repository article at 14, he's a professional filmer at Vans. So when I say my connections in California run deep, they run Humboldt deep. And I'm here telling people in Humboldt, California to come donate 50 boards during Go Skate Day at Dogwood, because I got 50 skateboards on the way coming from my man in New York, Glenn Chapman. So if you guys don't know, I could own the Knicks one day, and I would love to give this town free jerseys, but you're going to have to respect me and meet me halfway in the middle. So I'm Nick Fonte. Anyone else, please come meet me in the middle, because this isn't for me. This is for kids who don't have mom and dad, you know, because that's rough. That's real rough, you know, and all they need is a nice, healthy park to play at, and I think it would help keep the illegal guns off the street and the violence, because one of the best things about improving our park is why go on vacation when vacation's at Dogwood. So, you know, with this COVID stuff, I ain't going to Europe. I ain't getting the COVID shot, and I'm staying here in Ohio, paying my property tax and staying sober one day at a time, and, you know, just trying to help fix up what I once took for granted in a lot of other Hoover grads like Jake Grilla and Presley Hall and the whole nine of them. But, you know, I'm here to do it, you know, with the help of God and Jesus. And, you know, I know Mr. Shredder's ready to get this project done. So with that being said, God bless.
Thank you, Joe. Very well said.
Thank you.
Our second speaker is Mr. Chuck Osborne. Mr. Osborne, are you there?
I am here.
When you're ready.
Chuck Osborne, 307 Fairview Street, Southeast, North Canton, Ohio. After listening to the 2+ hours of discussion at last week's Planning Commission regarding the proposed total rewrite of the North Canton's Main Street zoning, I would like to make the following comments. I believe the answers to questions posed by Commission Chairman McLeister uncovered some flaws in the proposed zoning code for Main Street. First, I will point out that in my remarks to the Commission, I was critical that the size of parking stalls were being reduced to 9 feet by 18 feet from the current 10 feet by 20 feet requirement, and that the width of parking aisles was being reduced to 16 feet from the current 22 feet. These dimensions will not work in this day and age when people are driving Chevrolet Suburbans and Ford with F-150s. As the Commission is tasked to do when reviewing development plans, Commission Chair McLeister asked what were the required parking spaces under the proposed code. The land planner hired by the city clearly and emphatically stated that there were no minimum parking requirements and that each property owner will decide on his own the required amount of parking he desires, and that this is a trend that is being implemented elsewhere. Will North Canton be in need of a downtown parking garage like Columbus with this approach for public parking? Our current zoning is a one-size-fits-all, and as a property changes owners, the current parking requirement works for a wide variety of possible businesses. Building a property with little or no parking requirement at the outset severely limits future uses of that property for the next property. Secondly, in answer to another question posed by Chairman McLeister, the proposed code reduces the minimum building setback to 0 feet. In other words, a building would be required to be built right up to the sidewalk in certain districts on Main Street. What happens if there is a need to widen Main Street? If commercial buildings were built in this manner, it would be unlikely that Main Street could ever be widened. The glee and almost unquestioned possibilities that this rewrite of the zoning code for Main Street would bring to North Canton happily was tempered when discussion of a hotel on Main Street was proffered by at least one member of council who spoke in support of this proposal. City Administrator DiOrio quickly brought that exuberant thought to an end when he pointed out that that was not an economic possibility. Unfortunately, there was rampant feeling that this zone change would bring untold possibilities of growth for North Canton. It was as if all of our city officials at the Planning Commission were unhappy with what we all enjoy about our community, and that we must change and be like downtown Columbus, Cincinnati, or Nashville. The proposed Main Street zoning changes will entail 5 different sets of zoning districts. This simply presents needless inequities and confusion. I don't think there is a need or desire to change North Canton into a destination city, and further, it is not feasible. The roadways in the neighborhoods were never put in place to allow for travel and parking fit for a destination city. North Canton is a bedroom community. North Canton is our destination because we enjoy safety and serenity in our homes. I don't want North Canton to be a destination city for any other reason than that. Does North Canton need crowds descending on the city so they can walk up and down Main Street with a beer in their hand? As the meeting came to a close, city officials led by Mayor Wilder recited all the great plans and accomplishments that are coming to North Canton, beginning with the designated outdoor refreshment area referred to as Adora. I say love the city you have and not covet what you see elsewhere. And if that is not possible, move to where you see elsewhere if that is the lifestyle you desire. There is no need to gut our current zoning codes for Main Street. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, that concludes our recognition of the public. Moving on, we have a special presentation tonight. At this time, I'm going to turn it over to Councilman Serretta for the introduction. Mark?
Thanks, Jeff. We have a representative tonight from the Heritage Society. And as you know, the Heritage Society is one of those, I would say, quiet necessities of our community. They capture our important history so that we know where we came from and how we got here. There's a new project called the Heritage Trail, and it's a project that really started several years ago. Doug Wechter has been kind of spearheading this for years, actually. He met with Pat and I years ago, several times at a restaurant, and showed us different ideas of what they were planning and doing. And, and I'd be honest with them, we did have a few reservations. I'm real concerned about the aesthetics that we have in our community and so on. So I let Doug know about that, and Doug listened and took care of those concerns. And his committee and the community looked at his committee and the community input have looked at all those concerns and come up with a very exciting addition to our community. So I want to introduce the Vice President of the Heritage Society, Doug Wechter. He's going to go through a PowerPoint and explain what the Heritage Trail is. Doug, feel free to move on.
All right, thank you, Mark. All right, as Mark mentioned, I'm Doug Wechter. I was born in North Canton. I developed a deep appreciation for the history from a young age while growing up in the 1841 Ezra Pebble House, located at 730 40th Street, you see on the slide there. I developed a strong emotional attachment to this community while playing football for West Park, participating in scouting, and while delivering the Canton Repository. I graduated from St. Paul Grade School and Hoover High School. Slide 2, please. Over the years, I've driven through many small towns and have enjoyed taking in their historical charm. Many towns celebrate their rich history with the use of wall murals, historic house markers, historic banners on light poles, architectural arches, and Heritage Trail panels. So I said to myself, why not us? As a longtime board member of the Heritage Society, I have learned that the city of North Canton has an interesting story to tell. Some parts of the city's history, such as the impact of the Hoover Company, are well known. People may even be aware of the story behind the 1918 name change of New Berlin to North Canton, or the heartwarming story of the British war children who were brought to North Canton during World War II. Still, there are many lesser known facts about the events, citizens, businesses, churches, and landmarks that helped forge the city's development and current identity. Like Mark mentioned, about 5 years ago, I began to envision various ways that the city of North Canton could highlight their historic elements to increase its charm. Such as you see on the slide here, wall murals, historic light poles. North Canton, like many towns, like to highlight their athletes during the school year, but potentially during the summer months, we could do as some other towns do, highlight their town's history and also veterans. Architectural arches I've noticed in other towns, such as nearby Canton and Brimfield. So potentially we could save the 40th Street School Arch, the one that faces 40th Street, and place it on the corner of Ream Avenue and 40th Street, or as Mark Sharetta suggested to me, it could be incorporated into the soon-to-be renovated Bitzer Park. I think it could be, accented with some landscaping and uplighting, and it would soon become an iconic city landmark and an ideal photo op spot. And finally, our topic of today, Heritage Trails, a series of interpretive panels to help tell the rich historical story of our city. This would enhance the charm and increase some people's emotional connection with their hometown. Next slide, please. Historic house markers. In 2019, I facilitated through the cooperation of the North Canton Heritage Society and Tom Pieper the launching of the Century Building Plaque Program. To date, we have 4 structures that you see on this slide that have received plaques. St. Paul Church and School will each be getting century plaques within the next 12 months. So that'll make 6 markers total. We hope to increase this number in the future. Next slide, please. Over 4 years ago, I began to facilitate the creation of a heritage trail for North Canton, consisting of a series of interpretive panels regarding our often hidden or forgotten rich history. The Heritage Trail has been planned as a series of 3 separate phases. As I'm sure you all know, our city has torn down many of the historic buildings over time, some through, as you see, Hoover Company, which is very, very necessary. But we also want to try and highlight a lot of these hidden history that have been lost to time. Next slide, please. The creation of various phases of the Heritage Trail is being accomplished with the help of many organizations that you see here. The North Canton Heritage Society, the Hoover Historical Center, North Canton Community Association, and the North Canton Chamber of Commerce. Next slide, please. The Heritage Trail Committee consists of Megan Pellegrino, Dave McDaniel, Kelly Odegaard, Doug Lane, Mark Sharetta, and myself. So we have a little cross-section of some different people in the community. Next slide, please. Many others, as you see on this long list, in the community and beyond, have contributed their variety of talents to enhance the quality of the North Canton Heritage Trail. Without their generosity, the Heritage Trail would not be possible. So this has truly been a collaborative community effort. Next slide. The generous support of the sponsors of the Heritage Trail are the Herbert W. Hoover Foundation, the North Canton Public Library, and Gary and Rita Wechter family. Next slide. The specific locations, as Mark was referring to, of each panel have been chosen for their accessibility to the viewer while attempting to blend the panels into their environment as much as possible. As Mark and others have mentioned, they don't want these panels to be like billboards in the downtown area. They want them to kind of be integrated as best as possible into the environment while still being accessible. For example, the panel located at the YMCA is planned for the side of the island in front of the YMCA versus in front of the island. The panel for the library is placed off of Main Street, near the main entrance, while still accessible to pedestrians walking on Main Street. Next slide. And here you can see the various panels mocked up around town where their proposal locations are. Each panel will have a unique, let's see. Go ahead and go to the next slide.
Going back to the next slide, I'll help you out here. Each panel has that little code that you can take a picture with your phone and get more information. Go ahead, Doug. Here's the areas that the
It's a QR code.
There you go.
Yeah. Yeah, so I'm trying to think which slide we're going to. So those are the proposed locations. Trying to think. Sorry, bear with me for a minute. Yeah, we're gonna get to the QR code content a little bit later. Go ahead and go to the next slide. And as you see on this map, you see all three phases. From the previous map was just phase one. So we planned 2 more phases of 5 panels each to be 2 years apart. Again, the majority of these panels will be spread beyond Main Street. Again, the content of these panels are primarily driven by the history associated with their location. So collectively, they'll tell the historical story of North Canton. The panels will be maintained and insured by the North Canton Heritage Society, except for any panels made on the City of North Canton property. Next slide. So here you see phase 2 examples of the different slides, kind of the topics, if you will. We're going to have the history of Walsh University, and then the endearing story of the British children evacuees during World War II, and their caretaker, Herbert W. Hoover, the son of William H. Boss Hoover. We'll also have the historical Hoover Farmhouse, that is the childhood home of Boss Hoover. The house is the location of the Hoover Historical Center and is on the National Registry of Historic Places. Also, the story of the Hoover Company, which has left an indelible mark on this community for almost 150 years, will be highlighted. And finally, the history of the Bitzer Hotel, along with biographies of Michael and Elizabeth Bitzer. In 1867, Mr. Bitzer introduced a young lawyer named William McKinley, who would proceed to make his first political speech under a tree next to the Bitzer Hotel in present-day Bitzer Park. Next slide. All right, here you see phase 3. That's the final phase. That would be in 2025. The Charlotte Street School, which was originally known as Noka High when it opened its doors in 1929. A panel will highlight the many existing and former Hoover houses that are still here with us and some that have been torn down. The historic 40th Street panel will highlight the history associated with the street. This history includes, what's that? This history includes the humble beginnings of a family business that is now an international company, 2 Ohio High School Football Hall of Fame coaches, and a church whose local origins go back to 1814. Next, we'll have an inspiring story of former slave Jacob Gaskins, who later risked his freedom by becoming a conductor on the Underground Railroad before the Civil War. And finally, a panel showcasing the history of the various 40th Street schools, whose first school building was erected in 1835. Next slide. Each panel will have a unique QR code, which will direct a viewer to a website from which they can access such things as historical photos of what used to be near the site that are standing at, information on any monuments or sculptures located nearby, additional historical figures associated with the location, background of street names in the vicinity on the panel, and access to children narration of the panel. Next slide. A couple of examples of Phase 1 panels are the history of the library and Harley and Mary Hoover Price that you see in front of you. This panel tells the story of the North Canton Library, whose origins began with the Ladies Literary Club, whose own history dates back to 1894, making it the second oldest such club in Ohio. This panel also contains biographical sketches of Harley and Mary Hoover Price, who were instrumental in the founding of the North Canton Library in 1928. The impact of their generosity has left an indelible mark on the North Canton community and beyond. It might be interesting for some to learn that they are the namesake for the beloved Price Park. Next slide. Henry Hall and Leonard Willamette panel. On this panel, we have the story of Henry Hall, a Civil War veteran and local historian. In 1906, he published 165 biographies of various citizens of New Berlin, which have become a rich source of information for later historians. On the right side of the panel, we learn about Revolutionary War veteran Leonard Willamette, who in 1807 began laying down a legacy that would impact this town for generations to come. His 200-year-old house was located, is located 509 Summit Street Southeast and has a century building plaque marker on it. Next slide, please. The accomplishments of the committee to date, including general buy-in and establishment of a broad-based committee, recruitment of additional talented people to contribute their various skills, creation of mock panels to provide a visual as proof of concept, successful writing of a grant to secure most of the necessary funding from the Herbert W. Hoover Foundation, additional funding secured from the North Canton Public Library and a local family donation, prizes gathered for the virtual opening events held on July 4th weekend, and determining the logistics of uploading the QR code content onto a linked website. Next slide, please. Things that we need to accomplish are recording of the local school children narration of the panels, creating a mechanism to activate the panel narration via the QR code, finalizing the promotional flyer, writing a press release to local magazines, publications, newspapers, and conducting a radio spot on WHBC, and finalizing the QR code content. We have determined that the cost of liability to insure each panel will be $1 per panel for the North Canton Heritage Site. Next slide, please. I'd just like to thank you for the opportunity to share some projects that could add some historical bling and therefore enhance the charm of our wonderful city. We would love to have the backing of the city of North Canton on this exciting community project. Thank you.
Thank you, Dave. Thank you.
Thank you, Doug.
Doug, great job.
Thanks, Doug.
Any comments? Anybody?
Yeah, it's Councilman Foltz. Is there a way that we can contribute and get involved, even as a city government entity, but also as private donators to this? I think it's an awesome concept, Doug, and the committee did a wonderful job, Mark included, administration, just to move this forward. I think it's a historic history lesson that everybody can enjoy. So I'd like to contribute to that, but I want to applaud the efforts here. Looking forward to this being installed.
Thank you, Doug. If right now we're actually under budget, so hopefully we will not need any more financial needs for this phase, but there will be 2 more phases, so we might utilize your offer.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else?
Yeah, Doug, you say you guys are under budget for phase 1. Would you be willing to come back prior to phase 2 and 3?
Sure.
Yeah, I think that'd be great.
Mhm.
You guys have any different ideas? You'd like the slides? Is there any issues that you have whatsoever? I knew you guys would love it. First of all,
No, I think it's
great. Awesome.
Mark.
It's
I think it's
Dom.
well done. It's well done and thought out. Yeah, I applaud it.
Real quick, this is Dom. So with the QR code, not only can you show slides, pictures, you can also link it to videos and information history as the Historic Society puts things together. I mean, it can be really as deep as you want to go.
That's a good point. So the QR code offers a lot of flexibility moving forward. You can have a theme added to all the panels, maybe once a year or whatever, or we have not at this point done any other audio, but like we have audio of some of the British children evacuees that could be uploaded, or even the Hoover Company song that they sing when they go to their museum. So yeah, good point, Dominic.
I mean, a lot of times I'll see people scan it and then there's a narration. So like you or somebody from the Historical Society could narrate a small snippet on each sign besides going to photos, history, dates, as well as video or audio.
Okay.
Yeah, I probably should give you his number, Dom. Dom has a lot of experience in this too, and this
great.
code thing is coming along. You guys could talk about that. I'm sure you can.
Yeah, we could use a little of your expertise, I think. I don't know if I covered it fully, but we are going to have children narrate the panels, which is my favorite part of this whole trail. So you should be able to push a link or a button on the QR code, and local school children are going to read you the panel.
That's cool. They're really cool. So
Well thought out.
The what do you want to call it? The start of this thing, or the announcement, or the putting it out, it'd be July 4th is what they're looking at. So we're going to probably need to put it on our website and get some things out there for that weekend, because this will be up and running at that point. So this will be the beginning of it, the grand presentation of it, I guess. Isn't that correct, Doug?
Yes.
Doug Wechter, Mayor Wilder, if I can interject. I always like to let council go first, and I think you've heard some positive comments coming from council. I'm impressed by the well planning that you've put into this and the historical facts that you're willing to present. I think something like this would really enhance our town center and bring history to life in our community. As much as we're changing and still going forward, there's still that connection, and I think you're doing that with the North Canton Heritage Trail. And as we've talked before, I think you know that I think this would really add to the fabric of our community, and again, just brings to life some of our past history that some people may not know. So. Again, I yield to council, but you got the mayor's support, okay?
Thank you. I appreciate it. As Mark mentioned, this was not a 6-month project. It was multiple years, and I didn't want to rush it. We weren't looking just to throw something down. We want to make it high quality, and we were very detailed in trying to make these look very professional, the way they're the graphic design work and whatnot. So
Absolutely.
everyone's patience.
Thank you for the presentation.
Good shot. Good job, Doug. Thank you very much.
Great job.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Doug. Have a great evening.
All right.
Okay. Ben, are we ready to move on? Okay, there we go. All right, moving on to old business. May I have a motion and a second to read by title only, ordinance 25-21?
Revolt moves.
Bolt seconds.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. Ben?
An ordinance amending Chapter 953 Municipal Swimming Pool of the Codified Ordinances of the City of North Canton, specifically Section 953.02 Daily Rate to adjust weekend rates for Dogwood Swimming Pool.
All right, thank you. Chairman Foltz.
Yeah, thank you. As it reads, it's our third reading. I think we've all had a chance to weigh in, and without any other questions, I'll make a motion to adopt the third reading of this ordinance 25-2021.
Revolt seconds.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion carries. Thanks, Doug. All right, may I have a motion and a second to read by title only, ordinance 28-21?
Revolt moves.
Warren second.
seconds.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. Ben?
An ordinance amending Ordinance 55-2020, establishing a designated outdoor refreshment area in the city of North Canton in order to amend the geographic boundaries, hours of operation, and permissible cup fees.
All right, thank you. Chairman Revolt.
Thank you, Mr. President. As we all know, the administration has requested an amendment to the original DORA ordinance. For our consideration tonight on the second reading, we're going to shorten the operational period to Wednesday through Saturday, noon to 11 p.m. And we're going to shrink the footprint per the map before you. Are there any questions or comments?
It's right here. I'll make a quick comment just to clarify something from the last time we talked about this. I did contact Nick Pappas. I think I mentioned that to you, most of you, owner of Pavs. He says he is in favor of this, and no one's really ever contacted him about it. But he does agree that he thought it was just for special events, and he would rather, that makes a lot more sense than having it every weekend. But I wanted to make sure to clarify that he is in favor of it, and that. And again, that's the only thing I really have to say about it. Again, I'm still not in support of it. I think it's mirage legislation that we're trying to be something we're not right now. And if it was just in the downtown area, I would be in favor of it. But to go a quarter of a mile, I think we're just creating something that we're not. So I'm going to maintain that I'm against it for that reason.
Hey, Mark, this is Dom. Thanks for your input. But I do believe we're just like thinking ahead, long view. This isn't something for today. This is something to kick off what the long-term goal is. And I think you guys are going to find when the 720 group comes, you're going to see it's going to go over very well. And I think once we get our feet wet and our comfort zone up, we will be adjusting ourselves if we need be.
Well said. Anything else? If not, I move we adopt the second. Revolt moves with the adoption of the second reading of ordinance 28-21.
Storia seconds.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed?
Is there any opposed?
Thread opposes, passes 6-1. Okay, may I have a motion and a second to read by title only, ordinance 29-21?
Revolt moves.
Bolt seconds.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Ben?
An ordinance authorizing the appropriation of funds of the City of North Canton to be appropriated for current expenses during the fiscal year ending December 31st, 2021.
All right, thank you. Chairwoman Warren.
Sure. We talked about this last week and looking at improving our park projects and some debt reissue costs were the main ones for a total of $339,000 plus. So if there are no other questions, I move to adopt.
I do. I have a
Yep.
question. Gina, did we need to amend this?
Yes, yes, please. Could we add, we wanted to amend it to add $50, which was a donation received by the police department. So we wanted to add that to the 212 fund, which is the donation fund. And I think that's a different ordinance. Yep, there we go. General trust fund for the police department. They're going to use that towards belt equipment for safety equipment for the officers.
Okay, could I have a motion, a second, to amend ordinance 29-21 to include a $50 donation to the police department to go to the 212 fund?
Sure, so moved, Warren.
The revolt seconds.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? All right, it is amended. Steph, back to you. Anything else?
Nope. I just moved to adopt.
Revolt
Second
second.
Adopt
Amended.
second as amended.
That's amended.
All right. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? All right, motion carries. All right, thank you, Steph. All right, motion and a second to read by title only ordinance 30-21.
Revolt moves.
Schroeder seconds.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. Ben?
An ordinance amending Chapter 937 Water Rates of the Codified Ordinances of the City of North Canton, specifically Section 937.08 Water Turn-On, to define responsibility for water costs and charges.
All right, thank you. Chairman Soretta.
Yes, we talked about this in committee. This really shifts liability of the water bills to the property owners for bills that are incurred or for the tenants or the occupants. And that's basically all it is. I move to any discussion, any comments, first of all? Okay.
Good.
I move to approve second reading.
Revolt seconds.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. All right, may I have a motion and a second to read by title only ordinance 34-21.
Revolt moves.
Schroeder seconds.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Ben?
An ordinance amending Chapter 1182 Amendments to Zoning Map of the Codified Ordinances of the City of North Canton, specifically subsection 1182.03B Submission Requirements, to reduce the application requirements for zoning map amendments and declaring the same to be an emergency.
All right, thank you. Chairman Revolt.
As we discussed at our previous committee of the whole, this ordinance simplifies the process to make amendments to the map. The process, principally with regard to the information that's needed for that amendment. So, secondarily, it also places the clerk in a position to help monitor those changes or requests for changes when they occur with the administration. So we'll have, I think, a little better command and control on amendments to the zoning map when they occur, to make sure that they actually get done. Ben, is there anything else you'd like to add?
No, that sums it up.
All right.
I
Are there any
guess I would
questions?
add that it's on emergency because we know of at least 2 potential changes that might be coming soon that we'd like to help out.
Okay, very good. Are there any other questions or comments?
Nope.
Seeing none, then I'll move the adoption of the first reading, ordinance 34-21.
Both seconds.
Okay.
All in favor, say aye.
I'm
Aye.
sorry, I was on mute. Aye.
It was a pregnant pause there, Mr. President.
I'm sorry. I tapped my mute button and I didn't realize I did that. My apologies. Okay, motion and a second to suspend the rules of council requiring 3 readings for 34-21.
Revolt will move.
Schroeder seconds.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. And finally, a motion and a second to adopt ordinance 34-21 under suspension.
Revolt will move.
Schroeder seconds.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. Daryl, thanks for picking me up there. I appreciate
Thank you.
it. Okay, may I have a motion and a second to read by title only ordinance 35-21?
Revolt moves.
Surratt seconds.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. Ben?
An ordinance amending Chapter 935, Water Lines and Hydrants of the Codified Ordinances of the City of North Canton, specifically Section 935.02A, fee where connection cost is not paid by assessment, to authorize payment plans for premises located outside the city.
All right, thank you. Chairman Serrata.
Yes, this is geared towards people that are outside the city. We do have a payment plan for folks that are inside the city that want to hook up. 12-month program. This one actually adds on those folks outside the city so they can get on that payment plan and get our wonderful water. So any discussion, any questions?
Nope.
In that case, I'll make first motion to approve this first reading.
Revolt seconds.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, moving on. May I have a motion and a second to read by title only ordinance 36-21.
Revolt moves.
Surratt seconds.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? All right, motion carries. Ben?
An ordinance to repeal and replace Resolution 58-2007 of the City of North Canton, titled A Resolution Establishing a Drinking Water Source Protection Committee for the City of North Canton to develop and implement an effective drinking water source protection plan and establishing the composition of the committee, to clarify the role, composition, and responsibilities of the North Canton Source Water Protection Committee and declaring the same to be an emergency.
All right, thank you. Chairman Serrata.
Yes, exactly what it says there, to establishing this committee and putting in the rules and the roles of that committee. We had one at one point, and that was disbanded, and we're starting this new one up here to protect our water. Any discussion or comments? In that case, I'll make the motion to first reading, and then this is on emergency, so we'll have to move forward on this. So I'll make the motion.
Revolt seconds.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. Motion and a second to suspend the rules of council requiring 3 readings.
Serrata moves.
Revolt seconds.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. And finally, a motion and a second to adopt ordinance 36-21 under suspension.
Revolt moves.
Sorry. Serrata seconds.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? All right, motion carries. All right, may I have a motion and a second to read by title only, Resolution 4-21.
Revolt moves.
Serrata seconds.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? All right, motion carries. Ben?
A resolution submitting a request to the Stark County Auditor pursuant to Ohio Revised Code Section 5705.03B to certify to the City of North Canton, Stark County, Ohio, as taxing authority for the City of North Canton, the total current tax valuation of said city as a subdivision, and the dollar amount of revenue that would be generated for an additional tax of 1 9/10 mils for the purpose of providing additional funds for the city's portion of providing and maintaining fire apparatus or other fire equipment and appliances, and for the payment of permanent, part-time, or volunteer firefighting personnel to operate the same, including the payment of any contributions required for such personnel under ORC Sections 145.48 or 742.34 in said city for a period of 5 years being tax years 2022, 2023, 2024, 2025, and 2026, commencing 2022, first due in calendar year 2023, and declaring the same to be an emergency.
All right, thank you, Chairwoman Ware.
Well, it really does say everything that it needs to say, from millage to the years to where it's going to be spent. We talked about this last week, and Pat and Gina and did a really nice job on a video or a PowerPoint presentation, kind of explaining the need for not only the fire, but the next one we'll also be talking about at EMS. So if there aren't any other questions, I move this forward as a resolution.
Chairwoman. The numbers, correct?
I'm sorry, what?
This is just to see all these numbers. That's all we're doing.
Yeah, we're just preliminary. In order to start the process, we just have to get the numbers to see what they would even be.
Yep.
And Madam Chair, for your clarification, the finance director, myself, and the council clerk worked on a PowerPoint for next week's committee of the whole to address some of the questions that were brought up at the last meeting, just to let you know that.
All right. Good.
And sorry, you had told me that earlier today, so. Forgot to mention.
There's a motion to adopt. Revolt will second that motion to adopt.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? All right, motion carries. And may I have a motion and a second to suspend the rules of council requiring 3 readings?
So moved, Warren.
Revolt seconds.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. And finally, may I have a motion and a second to adopt Resolution 4-21 under suspension of the rules?
So moved, Warren.
Revolt seconds.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? All right, motion carries. Okay, may I have a motion and a second to read by title only Resolution 6-21?
So moved, Warren.
Sort of second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. Ben?
A resolution submitting a request to the Stark County Auditor pursuant to Ohio Revised Code Section 5705.03B to certify to the City of North Canton, Stark County, Ohio, as taxing authority for the City of North Canton, the total current tax valuation of said city as a subdivision, and the dollar amount of revenue that would be generated for a renewal and increased tax of 3 9/10, 3.9 mils for the purpose of providing ambulance service, emergency medical service, or both in said city for a period of 5 years, being tax years 2022, 2023, 2024, 2025, and 2026, commencing 2022, first due in calendar year 2023, and declaring the same to be an emergency.
All right, thank you. Chairwoman Warren.
Okay. The same thing we did discuss last week regarding the ambulatory services and the need to get evaluation. So that is what this is. If there are no other questions, I move that we adopt.
Revolt seconds.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. I may have a motion and a second to suspend the rules of council requiring 3 readings.
Revolt moves.
Warren second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. And finally, a motion and a second to adopt Resolution 6-21 under suspension of the rules.
Warren moves.
Revolt seconds.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, moving on to department reports. Before I go to you, Catherine, I just wanted to make a quick note. As you may all be aware now, we had a pretty big tragedy, a couple tragedies this past week regarding former students of North Canton and good families in town. We lost a member, Luke Grandjean, age 25, and John Keller was shot and is fighting for his life right now in Michigan. And I just wanted to, send condolences to the Grandjean family and thoughts and prayers to both the Keller and the Grandjean family. Hoping for speedy recover for John, and my heart just breaks for the Grandjean family. I just wanted to, if you hadn't already heard, make you aware of that and send my condolences. So with that, Deputy Director of Finance, Catherine, or Administration, Catherine.
Thank you, Mr. President. And that was beautiful. My heart and my prayers go out to both families as well. I first wanted to also say thanks to Doug Wechter for a great presentation on the Heritage Trail. Doug, I remember when we first met to discuss that a few years ago at City Hall. So it's nice to see it come into fruition. Just wanted to let everyone know I am continuing moving forward managing the Dogwood Park expansion project. We're at the juncture right now of receiving all the final drawings and specifications from the architectural engineers on the pavilion and the playground and the new restrooms and the parking lots. So there are a few minor details to work out between the architectural engineers and the construction manager. And once that's all resolved, the CMAR will begin to bid out the project to the subs. So it's going to take the construction manager at risk, the CMAR, several weeks, to get the bid docs prepared, bid it out, review the respondents, and then award the bids. So we're looking at actual beginning of construction to be starting into June. So I'll just want to let you know, I'll continually keep you all updated on the phases of the project once construction has begun. So if there aren't any questions at this time, that's all I have.
Hey, Kathy, will we be able to see what those are? We saw some very preliminaries some time ago. Will we be able to see those coming up at all?
Yes, you want to see renditions of the drawings?
Yeah.
I can get those for you. We do want to get it all completely ironed out, dot all the I's, cross all the T's, and once we have that, I can do that. And I know that's been mentioned before, so maybe we'll do another update. I could do another slideshow. We could even maybe, put some pictures out there at the site. The construction manager is the A. Altman company. They typically do that once they put construction fencing up. They'll put a big sign like they did up at Akron Children's Hospital. It'll say what the project is and, coming soon. And we could probably add some renditions to that.
Kathy, we could do a video too if you'd like. You can describe it on a video if you'd like sometime.
Sure, that'd be great. As we get a little further down and we break ground, let's do that.
Well, my question was, are we going to have any input on it?
At this point,
no. At this point, we've passed that phase.
Okay. We saw some preliminary some time ago, and that's about the last we've had input on it. I just wanted to see it. So when people, say, why'd you put that there? Where'd you put that there? Well, I don't know. That's,
that's what the engineers and the architects do. They figure that out.
They're the ones that'll, okay. That's all I wanted to know. Where we were on that.
Okay, I'm excited for it. And, little something through the summer that we'll get to see happening, and I'll keep you updated as much as I can as we go along.
Thank you.
All right, thanks.
All right, thank you, Catherine. All right, Director of Administration, Patrick.
Well, I want to put this out here to just dispel any rumors, but I did take the battalion chief test, not because I wanted to be the battalion chief, but just to see how hard it was, and it's hard. So I didn't pass, but I'm probably the first administrator to ever take such a thing, and I wanted to have an understanding and make sure that we're getting our money's worth from these testing agencies that we're using. So some of that giggles maybe going around the city, wanted to make sure you understood why I did what I did. I have no other report. Thank you.
Nice work, Patrick. How long did it take you to fail that test?
Not that long, actually. The first 20 questions, I got a headache and I couldn't answer any of them. And so I got into the easier part to build up some momentum and some confidence in myself. And then I circled back and it didn't help.
Yes. Nice try, though.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Patrick. Mayor.
Yes, thank you, President Peters. I just had a few housekeeping things I'd like to share with the council and our listeners again. It's that hydrant flushing season. I'd just like to pass it on from our water superintendent there. Today, Monday, the 26th, we're doing some flushing up there at North Main Street, west of Cleveland Avenue, northwest. And coming up this Wednesday, on the 28th of April, we'll be doing some work on the southwest section of North Canton. Generally, they do those at night, water flushing. So I just want to bring our listeners aware of that. And of course, if there's ever any discoloration, they're cleaning the lines out and getting sediment out. But anytime somebody has discoloration in the water, they just need to call the water treatment plant, and we'll work through that. We had a very successful Earth Day recycling. That was Saturday from 11 to 2. And I want to thank these companies, again, eCycle Solutions of Ohio, You Shred It, Goodwill Collections, Know Your Roots, our organic plant sale, our friends of the library, and of course, the North Canton Public Library Green Team. It was oftentimes, we had traffic backed up. It's always a good project for the city to participate in our goal to be sustainable and recycle products, whether it's electronics, paper, and clothing donations and things like that. So thank you for all those partners and allowing the city to be a part of that. I had the honor of throwing the first pitch out on opening day. That was Saturday also at the North Canton Little League ball fields. My catcher that day was Kevin Cubitt. He's a major league player for the Reds. And as Mark Soretta was there and Matthew Stroya saw that I threw a sinker, but I got it over the plate. And thanks for recording that, Mr. Soretta. I appreciate that. And most of all, I want to share with you a big thank you from the board, the maintenance staff, the coaches, the managers, and the families, and especially Dr. Gary Giamarco, the North Canton Little League president. They did thank us, Mr. DiOrio, and our Recreation Department Chairman Brian Hill, Councilman Soretta, Councilman Soroya, for constructing that new gravel entrance to the overflow parking lot. And it was just a simple call to this office and the team that we have, we got it taken care of in a matter of a few days. And just so you all know, I was the first car to park in that area on that day. So and I had another half a dozen cars follow me in right after that. I have a couple more things. We've had a number of new businesses moving into the city and relocating. I just want the council to be aware that we have Quality Heating and Cooling. They've moved in up at the old Shaw building up on Apple Grove. Very kind of them. They're bringing 35 to 40 employees to their location, and that's going to be their headquarters now. So they consolidated all their offices. Very happy that they're there. Great people that I've met up there. All American Gutter Protection. If you know where the 800 block is on North Main Street, we had a grand opening for them, and that's just above Dollar General, I think, on the east side of Main Street there. Again, thank you for bringing another 35 to 40 employees into our city to be a part of our small business, part of our small businesses. And by the way, that's their major call center for their operations throughout the United States. They are operating in about 11 major cities, and it's going to be right here in North Canton as it's going to be their major call center. And I want to thank them. And a little shout out to Creation Station down there at 842 South Main. Congratulations to Kathy Larario. That's Lerario. She opened her art studio down there. So, we have some businesses that want to come to North Canton because of what we have to offer. And we had a wonderful opportunity over the weekend, myself, Mr. DiOrio, Council Clerk Ben Young, and Christina Warwick. We participated in a 2021 Lead for Walsh Government Challenge. And we had 4 nice proposals from students looking at how we can help address our housing, our economic survival, and here in North Canton with a part of our community grain. It was called a grain challenge, I think, and or a Gray Dawn, that's what it was. So we went through their proposals. We thanked them for participating, and it gave us some food for thought as to what we can try to do to make our city stronger and better. I'd just like to address Mr. Mulqueen. Thank you very much again for your comments, Joseph. I know you're very passionate about it, the skate park. And if you want to go back in history, I was one who wanted that skate park back when I was a patrolman, that we had a venue for our kids to get off the street and have a chance to have outdoor activity. And so I understand where you're coming from completely. And I'd like to address Mr. Osborne at this time, that our city is a destination city, that many of us have chosen to live here. We've chosen to work here. And I think if we didn't move with times, this city is not the same as it was in the 50s, in the 60s, in the 70s. And for us to be progressive and stay ahead of the communities around us that are moving forward with housing and our opportunities to bring in young families, new businesses that are going to be an attraction for our people, that I just have a contrary respectively disagree with you on some of your points. We're not going to be the same as a Cincinnati or a Columbus or a Cleveland. We're going to have our own identity here, okay? And we have an opportunity to, with some tools that we have. This isn't all about Adora, okay? There's other things that come into play to make this community better and stronger. And we have people who want it to be that way. We'll have our own identity or uniqueness about it. But how else are we going to attract young families and new business here? Because if we don't, I think we're going to be pretty well dead in the water 10, 15, 25 years from now. So if we're not taking actions now to try to get the tools in our tool belt, okay, to attract businesses and keep young families here and attract and use the schools that we have, our Walsh University, our educational communities. We have a strong faith-based community, faith-based communities. So, I'm contrary to you that you feel that this is never going to happen, that we're not going to have any kind of destination. A heritage trail park, what a nice thing to have to come and visit and be a part of our city. So with that being said, I'm very strong about going forward. As Mr. Revolt and other people have said before, many of these things that we have in place can always be reviewed, okay? If something's not working right, then it's our job to fix it and make it right. And I feel we're doing the right things for the right reasons at the right time, because the city has been stagnant for too long. And now is our opportunity to go forward and to progress in whatever direction that takes us, hopefully in a positive way. So that's where I'm coming from. My vision is for this city to be the best that it can be and to be stronger. But it's going to take hard work from council and our citizens and our families to support that, and our small businesses. So with that being said, Mr. Peters, I thank you very much for my time to address council and our listeners. So thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Very
well said.
Okay, Director of Finance, Gina.
Thank you. I have no report tonight, but I just wanted to make a quick announcement as a reminder that tax day is in 3 weeks from today. The filing deadline for taxes is May 17th. So 3 weeks from today, May 17th.
Thanks, Gina.
Thank you. Thank you. All right, next up, City Engineer, Rob.
Thank you, Mr. President. I got some really good news on our grant front this week. Last week, the Stark County Commissioners formally adopted their 3-year Community Development Block Grant Program. And we've got a project in each of the 3 years funded. I guess what isn't a surprise is later this year, because we heard about it last year, we're going to get $250,000 for the next phase of our Pittsburgh waterline replacement. And that's in the budget, our matching, and we'll get that'll go to construction once they get the money from HUD, which is after July 1st. Then what's new is next year in 2022, we've received $395,000 in grant funding to replace the old cast iron 12-inch water line on Valley Drive Northwest. And that line runs from Portage all the way east on Valley Drive, right to where it separates the boulevard. And then it actually goes off-road due south across the Civic Center property to West Maple. So it's quite a big project. So we got $395,000 for that next year. And an even bigger award in 2023, we got $500,000 to replace the old 6-inch cast water lines in the Peachtree neighborhood on the south side of Everhard. In that application, we're looking at doing 5 streets, replacing the old line there. Peachtree, Winesap, Morello, Stamen, and McIntosh. So we're pretty excited about that. To get those.
Good job, Rob.
Yeah.
Good news.
Wow,
Nice.
fabulous.
Well
Yes.
done.
Thank you.
Rob, can you touch on the street repaving? Have we started that? Could you double check?
Yeah, Mayor, I'm glad you brought that up. That was going to be my next comment on our 2021 street paving program. We actually got started today. North Star Asphalt came in and did some grinding on Williman and Church, Lorena, and also Donner and Florence. So we'll be grinding tomorrow down on Hines and Westfield, and then probably Edgewood and Gaslight Circle, and then out to Washington Square later in the week.
Great.
Yep. And that completes my report, Mr. President.
All right, good stuff. Thank you, Rob. All right, moving on. Council Clerk, Ben.
As the mayor shared in his report, a number of us did participate in a Walsh University sponsored program, Lead for America, this weekend. The winners of that competition will get to refine their policy proposals over the summer and then hopefully present them to all of you this fall. And then if successful and you like their proposals, they will hopefully get an internship with us for the fall semester of 2021 to flush out their proposals.
Good stuff. Can't wait to hear it.
And then on the topic of interns, I would just like to give a shout out to the 4 interns who have been with us this semester, as this is their last week. They are all from Walsh University and they're all seniors. So Lane Knock and Evelyn Aaron were helping in the Office of City Council, and I'm sure most of you have seen at least some of the reports they helped craft. Lindsay Kraft was working with the Department of Administration, and then Julia Lasasso helped with a special project at the end of this semester for City Council, which we should hopefully have for you guys soon. So thank you to all of them for their hard work and for being a part of our team this semester. And
Job,
that concludes my report.
Thanks for helping. Good job. Okay, moving on to council reports. Member Foltz.
Thank you. I wanted to echo the mayor's comments on the skateboard park area. You know, I think we put that together about 20 years ago because we did a few in Canton, at Harmont and 9th Street. And I think it's been an overwhelming success just to give a resource to the young adults and families to use. So I'm very happy that it was built there, and I'm looking forward to the future to having maybe a new skateboard facility in North Canton. I think it serves the purpose of having a place to go, because there were none in this area 20 years ago, as hard as that is to believe. And at least we can point to that, saying that it's been a pretty good community asset overall for people to use. That's all my report. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Doug. Member Warren.
No report tonight.
Okay, Member Fonte.
Thank you. Yes, good comments from the mayor. Of course, I always appreciate the input from our citizens. I was just going to say the baseball thing, that's a good thing that happened, and congratulations on not hitting a grounder there, Mayor. But I just wanted to ask, is there anything else we have to cover about the ballpark tonight, or is that coming in the future?
It'll be under new business coming in a few minutes.
Okay. I did want to say, if you didn't get a chance to watch the video of our director of administration, it was non-city related. It was more about, your backyard. People are complaining about what to do with the recycling materials. And after I, gave it a lot of thought about this, the video that we participated in about how to do a garden in your yard or how to plant proper plants. We just had a sampling of it. If you didn't get a chance to see it, you should watch it. It was an excellent video. I got 100 comments personally that people really appreciated understanding about how to plant certain things, and they're looking forward to more information. And so, one of the things is organic materials, so you could have like a small area and churn your little, grass clippings and whatnot and use it for your garden. And so, there might be a twofer there and go green. And we did roll this video out on Earth Day. So if you didn't get a chance to see it, check it out. It's an awesome video. That's all I have.
All right. Thank you, Dom. Member Revolt.
Well, thank you, Mr. President. I want to echo some comments that the mayor made tonight, just very briefly. And that is, many communities would be fortunate particularly communities our size, if they had one decent economic development project a year. But the mayor moved pretty quickly over two in particular: Quality Heating and Cooling and American Gutter. Those are pretty big wins for the city, and clearly something good is happening here that is attracting business, because frankly it could go elsewhere. So I think that the administration, the council, deserve an attaboy, kudos for creating an environment that encourages businesses to come here. And clearly, I think the vision that the city has for its future resonates with investors. The second element we haven't mentioned, but I think everybody's aware of it, is the ground has been broken for the new Diebold addition at the Hoover complex. This is a very, very significant capital investment. And with Quality Heating and Cooling, American Gutter, and Diebold, this has the makings of a very, very good year for the city of North Canton. The mayor mentioned that I'm always reminding people to review things, and I enjoyed the Heritage Society presentation, Doug's comments, but it was my pleasure for many, many years to sit with Gary Wechter around the council table. And I would only say to Doug, Gary's a lot handsomer than the picture that you had. So I don't see that, but the guy who sat next to me was much better looking, Doug. So if you may want to dress him up a little bit. So other than that, I'm done. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Daryl. Member Serrata.
Yes, just to echo a few things here that everybody says. Daryl just mentioned economic development, and we've got a lot of good wins this year. So we're in the right path. It's more than just Adora. Everybody knows that. The thing that people want to live here. I mean, just ask Dom about how long a house is on the market here, and the safety, the schools, the aesthetics. So I can go on and on about that, but keep moving forward with that. Good job with that. As far as the skate park, that's a necessity, I think, in this community. I think it is a good place when it was put there. It is used more than a lot of other things are used. I was just recently up in Hudson, and they have a beautiful one. It's all kind of concrete and everything, and there were tons of people there right next to the park, and it's just a nice scene there. I think that's something that we need to, continue to push and make sure that this does happen. Also, we talked about the Little League. Yeah, we made fun of Steve, throwing the ball. He did get it over the plate, even though it was a sinker. It dropped down. But, if you've never done that before, and I've done it, it's not easy to sit in front of all those people. You could warm up till your life is content, and when you get out there, it is harder than heck to throw a ball across the plate. So Steve did a wonderful job with that. And just keep in mind that, folks, that the Little League is still, and I said this, Little League is one of the most visited places day in and day out of our community all summer long. So we need to continue to support them and the people that are out there. And our most valuable resource of our community is those kids. So, and we did a really nice job on getting what they needed done with the extra parking with that. Let's see, what else other thing that I did have in mind? Doug did a terrific job with the trail there, and I'm glad that everybody supported. I knew you would, because it's a first class thing, and they put a lot of time and effort into it, and it wasn't easy to get by me and Pat on a couple things. They did a terrific job with that. And I'm looking forward to not just phase 1, but our support with phase 2 and phase 3 as that rolls out. So that's all I have this evening. Thank you, Mr. President.
Hey, Mark,
Yes.
this is. Can I add a follow-on comment? Maybe this goes to some of the other things we heard earlier this evening. I won't ask the trivia question who the mayor was who threw out the very first pitch at the Little League field. I'll leave that to Stroy to figure that out. But when that Little League field was built, conceived and built, there were citizens in this community who didn't want it.
Absolutely.
And opposed it. And my point is that we're always going to have people who are going to oppose things. But I think if the vision is sound, I think the results of executing that vision, in this case, the Little League field, I think we would all agree this community is much richer in so many ways because council didn't listen to the naysayers, the administration didn't listen to the naysayers, and had the field built. And look at it today. It's wonderful.
Yep.
Thank you, Mr. Soretta, for letting me butt in.
Not at all. Anytime.
All right. Thank you, Daryl. Last but not least, Member Stroya.
Hey, everybody. Just wanted to say thanks for your continued passion, Joe, on the skate park. Chuck, thanks for speaking. I don't agree with anything of what you said, but thanks for your opinion. Doug Wechter, I love the idea of the Heritage Trail. I think that's phenomenal. I hope you come back soon for phase 2 because I would also like to give some money to that. That's a fantastic idea. Opening day at North Canton Little League, it is such a great tradition. It's so fun to see those kids light up. It's fun to hear the Little League pledge, how that's become a tradition. And Mark, I love how you read it and you were excited about it and you got the kids excited about it. Mayor, I thought that might have been a knuckleball instead of a sinker there because that had some movement on it there. So well done. Ben, thanks for organizing that, the Go Challenge with Walsh. I thought that was fantastic. And thanks to the presenters of that. I love their passion. I thought that was great. Welcome new businesses. That's 70 plus jobs that just came. So that's very exciting. I want to say let's continue to buy and support local. And I think that's a big reason why companies like this are coming in to our city. I think they know the loyalty of what our community has. Mark, I am disappointed that you did not say the word rubbish in your 2 opportunities tonight.
It's rubbish talking.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, Matt. All right. For final call for new business, I want to turn this over to Patrick. He has some very exciting news. He needs a voice vote from us to move it forward. So, Patrick, no further ado. Floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. President. I was having conversations recently here, up through and including today, with the North Canton Little League and some of the plans that they have that they would like to move forward on to continue to develop these young athletes and provide them with additional opportunities. So North Canton Little League is looking to provide lighting for 2 of the ball fields. Now, of course, there's 9 ball fields there. They're only looking to provide lighting on 2. This is a fundraising effort on their own, so it's not requiring the city to, commit any funds to this lighting project. In talking with the leadership there, they're looking at services being provided through a company called Musco Lighting. And Musco is a world leader in sports specialized lighting, and they use LED technology and the like. And their lights that they would be using here, we would have to meet with the administration and the building department satisfaction, but the lights would shine straight down. In looking at some of the samples, you'd be hard pressed to know that the field was lit unless you were really there at the game, because these solutions control spill light and glare and those types of light escaping up into the sky kind of thing. So to do that, to be able to move forward with that, in addition to raising all the money that they have to do, the lease agreement that I had drafted 3 years ago required that a lighting plan or lighting go-ahead be given by the city council. And talking with our legal counsel, that would come in the form of a voice vote to move forward. So specifically then, the North Canton Little League is looking to illuminate fields 2 and 3 using this new technology from the world leader, keeping the light pollution to a minimum. Lights would go off at 10 o'clock. The technology is all new compared to what it was, a decade ago. The lights will be turned on and off with the app on their phone, of course, with the technology today. So that is how they intend to control it. And we think that it will add a lot to it. During the pandemic, some of the neighboring little leagues closed because they didn't have access to a field. Their fields were on, for instance, on school property, and some schools stay closed. And in trying to start back up this year, some of those adjoining leagues were unable to form. And so those kids, rather than having no future, have been moved into the North Canton Little League system. And so it'll be even bigger and better than it was in the years past. So that is what is before you. I would need certainly answer any questions that I can, but ultimately would ask that a motion be made to, if council so inclined, to allow the administration to move forward with the Little League and come up with the solution on how that is going to be done.
Hey, Patrick, this is Peters here. What fields are those again? What numbers?
2 and 3, I believe.
2 and 3.
2 and 3. Okay.
Hey,
Go ahead,
Pat.
Dom.
Yeah, so I was just going to say, I'm kind of like up to date on lighting and stuff. So they would be looking at like a low glow, and it's kind of like this new technology. And I don't know, even like when we were talking about, Acme, the Albrechts, when they wanted to do the higher lights because it's more focused. So it's more cost effective because it's LEDs and they can control it with technology. And it's not like our street lights where it gives light pollution. It's very focused. And unless you're on the field getting lit up, it's not glaring at all. It's a low glare. And so how we've evolved in the last 15 or 20 years, it's not mercury lights like it used to be or high pressure sodium. It's a high directed low glare, and it's called a low glow system. So it's actually a very efficient system, and they specialize in this kind of thing for like events type thing. So I think it's well overdue, and with COVID and the pent-up demand, I think we need to get on the ball here, and I think it's a great plan of action, to be honest with you.
Patrick, I love the idea. I think there is nothing better than going to see a ball game under the lights. And even more so, I'm excited for the young ball players because there's nothing more fun than playing a game under the lights. There's really nothing better than that. So I support this 100%. Any other comments from council?
Yeah, this is Stephanie. I thought it was fabulous when Patrick mentioned it. And Mayor, I love your comments earlier about the gravel pit, and just really great things are happening. And Mark, I know you're excited about this, so this is great.
Absolutely right. There's an excitement, even coaching, but you're playing under the lights. So
yeah, and maybe it helps them move maybe another project forward when we're talking about the parks and what we're doing, and so that's just great.
Okay, if there's no further comment, may I have a motion? I'm sorry?
The mayor has one more comment.
Oh, yeah, Mayor, I'm sorry. Yeah.
Not
please.
a problem. No. That's okay. I'm a guest. I know. 100%. I support it 100%. It'll just provide a whole nother avenue of play and time, and it'll bring even more people, I think, into our city. Just not on the economic end of it, but it affords a little greater opportunity for boys and girls to play ball out there. And I have all the confidence in the world, as Dominic was alluding to, with the system that would go in there. It'll fit in just perfect for us, and it's been a long time coming. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mayor. Okay, well, I guess at this time, by voice vote, we have a motion and a second to authorize Little League to install lights on fields number 2 and 3 under the supervision of Director of Administration and his permits and engineering departments.
Revolt will move.
It moves.
Got a second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion carries. Patrick, good luck.
Thank you, sir. Thank you all.
Okay.
Thank you.
And lastly, we have our meeting calendar. All right, there we go.
Mr. President,
Yes, sir.
before you move into the calendar, if I might ask for an amendment to that calendar.
Yes, sir.
On May 3rd, could we schedule a special council meeting for the consideration of ordinance 28-21, that's our door ordinance, for its third reading and adoption on emergency?
Okay, third reading, emergency, okay.
And we'll amend it to insert an emergency clause.
Do we need all votes for that, for the emergency on the third one, or that doesn't count?
Need 6.
Six, yeah.
Yeah. Are we going to have at least 6 here for the third?
I believe so.
If everybody's here.
Okay, so motion and a second to add a special council meeting May 3rd, immediately following the committee of the whole, to consider the third reading of ordinance 28-21 with an emergency clause inserted.
As an amendment.
As an amendment.
I'll make that motion.
Full seconds.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? All right, motion carries. Okay, perfect. All right, so May 3rd, we have a committee of the whole followed by the special council. City council on the 10th. On the 17th, we'll have a 6:30 p.m. public hearing on the Main Street zoning, followed by the committee of the whole. On the 24th will be a regular city council. And then on the 31st, there'll be no meeting in observance of the Memorial Day holiday. Okay,
Hey, Jeff,
yes,
Jeff,
sir.
real quickly, because you're talking about schedule, do we have any more ahead thoughts on our break over? Because we were deciding where we were headed with that summer break, whether it be earlier or normally.
Yeah. Ben, I haven't spoken to Ben about that. I know in the conversations we had before, it sounded like everyone was more in favor of like towards the back end, like in the month of July.
Like we always do?
Yeah. Any other comments on that, guys?
I thought that your last meeting was going to be July 1st. It's a special meeting on a Thursday. And then you guys that was my understanding where you had left it.
Ben, do you have that in your notes?
Yeah, so the last tentative calendar.
Oh, here we go.
Right.
Had me move potential recess back to be essentially the month of July. And then we'll have a council meeting on July 1st.
Okay.
Thursday. Okay.
Hey, I got a quick comment. Are we doing the parade? Is that totally dead, or can we revise that? Is it too late to revive that for July 4th?
Are you talking about the July 4th, or are you talking about Memorial Day?
No, July 4th parade. I would think we should get back in the swing of things here in North Canton. Now, let's get on with the fireworks. Let's do all this stuff again. I think we had a year of nonsense. Let's get on with it. What do you say? Can we do that yet?
I'll address that if I could, Council.
Thank you.
All right. I've already been in contact and conversations with the president of the JCs and their board, and it's a little. I was going to announce it, but here it is. We are not going to participate in a 4th of July parade or 4th of July fireworks this year. I'm still very hesitant with the ramifications of COVID, and that bringing several thousand people together, for the parade, even with the safeguards that are coming in place, I'm still going to err on the side of caution, and that we're still in preliminary talks with even the JC Festival going forward. And that will depend a little bit too on any of the governor's remarks on that, Dominic. But as of right now, we feel that the JC Festival could go forward on June 14th or the 19th. They're still working throughout their details with their parties involved. But I just feel we need to get by this year and allow people to still continue to do their own 4th of July celebrations with family and friends. But this mayor is not going to have the fireworks or the 4th of July parade. And besides, the J.C.'s really don't have enough money to even afford the fireworks for this year.
Thank you.
All right,
You're
thank you,
welcome.
Mayor.
I know it's not a happy thing, but I've talked to some other citizens, and they understand where I'm coming from on this. And I just think, unfortunately, I just need to play this safely one more year. We have other functions that are going to go forward with the 720 market. The Main Street Festival is going to go forward. We're looking for a July 4th concert with the J.C.'s in Whitwer Park with the Canton Symphony. So that's in play, Dominic and everyone else on council. And we haven't set anything aside for our Labor Day concert that we used to have on the square. That is still, up for discussion. So as we're trying to open things up as much as we can for our citizens and public, but that's where we're at. Thank you.
Mayor, if you get any strong agendas on what we do have planned, let me know ahead of time so I can get it out there.
Not a problem. I was going to try to work on that this week as I was nailing things down with the J.C.'s and the chamber, but we even have some things for the library that are going to go forward for some of their functions. And so I think people are using common sense, still following the safeguards. And if I may say, all the precautions we took last year, I think that's why we're here this year. And that's why we have the Little League. They did so well with following protocols to keep things, keep their people safe, and the boys and girls and families. So without anything further, it's a lot of decision making, some not so pleasant, but that's where we're at right now. I'll get it out to you.
Thank you, Mayor. Okay, that concludes this agenda. So I entertain a motion to adjourn this agenda or this meeting.
Trying to move.
Revolt seconds.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? All right, motion carries. We are adjourned. And at this time, I would like to call to order the North Canton Committee of the Whole meeting, April 26, 2021. The time is 8:37. Ben, would you please call the roll?
Member Fonte?
Here.
Member Foltz?
Here.
Member Warren?
Here.
Member Soretta?
Here.
Member Revolt?
Here.
Member Peters?
Here.
Member Stroya?
Here.
7 present.
Okay, first and only, Finance and Property, Chairwoman Warren. The floor is yours.
I think we're going to do, Pat, you have a little,
Yes.
yes, for some of these great funds that we're getting. And as we discussed today, we feel like it's just going to go quickly with the great ideas that we have. So thank you.
Yes, so I think Ben and I worked on a little PowerPoint that we're going to go through. I apologize that it doesn't have any fancy pictures or anything, but I think that you'll get it. So I'm just going to kind of go through this. So the American Rescue Plan Act, enacted March 11th, 2021, is a stimulus package, and it included allocations for local government. We are expecting approximately $3.3 million in 2 installments. The first will be in May of 2021. So I apologize, I did not get a chance to work with Ben on. My eyesight is, not as good as it used to be. I thought it was a 2, but it turns out it's actually 2021.
No, I just fixed it. That's what.
I know. I'm just trying to bring some levity here. Levity. So the first will be in May of 2021, and then the second will come sometime in 2022. The criteria for all of the funds that's received is that it must be spent by the end of December in 2024. As compared to previous stimulus disbursements, there's a little bit more spending latitude with this one. They're generally looking for us to do projects with this, not be idle with the funds, land bank with it, use it for wages, things like that. So it's actually project oriented. Next slide, please. So upon the notification, the first step was to talk with the mayor and see what direction he wanted to go out of his office, and two important guidelines regarding how to look at the spending of these funds. So his focus was to be involved with projects and areas that have benefits to the wider community. So not just internal city operations or not just a few people on a few streets, but to try to bring the most benefit to the widest possible parts of our community. And to then focus on projects in areas that do not presently have a dedicated funding source and that are difficult to secure grant funding or sizable net donations for. So that, you know, with those criteria in mind, that kind of directs us to the city park system. Next slide. So North Canton currently, as you know, does not have a park levy, not asking for one, that support the operations and the maintenance of city parks. Now, as you know, many surrounding communities and ones similar to us are supported by park levies. Practically everything you know, around here has one. We know that Plain's going for a renewal. I believe Canton City is doing one under the great leadership of their park superintendent. But what that does is that means that we can, from our income tax, you know, we can maintain our parks in their current condition, but it makes it difficult to almost impossible for significant capital improvement allocations to be had. And I think we don't have to look very far to see the evidence of that. So when we look at the skateboard park, the splash pad at Dogwood Pool, the Dogwood Pool House, all of these things have been identified over the years as needing capital dollars to improve them. You know, the pool house itself, you know, we know that number of city council members have been working on this, and it's very difficult to get donations of a significant amount to kind of make all that come to fruition. So when you get an opportunity like this, that we get some funds in, it kind of makes sense to direct it towards the capital investment in the park facilities in order to do some things that we just probably would never get around to being able doing. Next slide. So for the first installment that we're getting here in May, we're gathering up the ideas. I've had an opportunity to, over the last few weeks, to talk to many of you about the items that you feel following the mayor's guideline would be important to us as a community. And this is not in any particular order. So I want to repeat that, no particular order. But again, the Dogwood Pool House renovations, that property that was built in 1970, 1971, we've had continual roof leak issues, you know, rotting away of the office walls, a concession stand that only functions in one direction. We know that there's opportunity if we can do that in both directions. The lavatories, the showers, the ADA compliance, the COVID compliance, just the general welcome, you know, to come into the place. It's in a very unsatisfactory and poor condition, and this would be a great opportunity. The Dogwood Pool Splash Park was, you know, graciously installed by a council and a mayor, you know, 17, 18 years ago. But it's tired, it's dated, it hasn't had improvements, it's just been maintained when something breaks. And, you know, if you want to keep people coming and you want to keep that interest in it, and these are comments that we get, is that, and we talk with our management team from the Y, these are things that they've been bringing to our attention for some time. We just have not been able to set aside any capital improvement dollars. The skateboard park, you know, what more can we say, you know, with the folks that have been speaking out on this? And I want to make sure that I, you know, say in all of this stuff here, and I want to go back to something that Councilman Soretta touched upon, and that is, I don't want to run all these projects. We want community involvement. And so all the folks that have expressed an opportunity or expressed the willingness to come forward and to talk about it, to lead on the subject, to get involved, this will be that time. We will put those groups together and get them working on solving any of these things that the city council would decide to move forward with. And we think that's a great opportunity to channel all that positive energy for change and improvement here. As you recall, in the 2017 Parks Master Plan that we put together, that we submitted to the state for funding, it was a 3-phase project. And the 3rd phase of that was an East Maple Street Event Center, and we don't want to forget about that. And in light of what we just heard with the Little League, I know that Mark and I had gone out and talked to some of the benefactors of that organization, and there was genuine interest to partner with us, but we didn't have any funds to partner with at the time. So this would be an opportunity to kind of leverage some of those dollars. The Bitzer Park renovations and improvements, I think Councilman Peters, did you want to cover something there at this time, or did you want me to just cover it?
Actually, I can do that now.
Okay.
And first of all, what I'm seeing so far here, Patrick, is outstanding. I am so excited. And to your point about getting the public involved, we have Joe Mulqueen, who has spoken very passionately about the skateboard park. I think he's going to be a real nice addition to that committee, I believe.
We're counting on him.
Yeah, to get what we need accomplished with that. So I'm particularly excited about that. But to your point, with these funds, this allows us to invest heavily in our parks. And we had received a Rotary donation in the amount of $50,000, and it was to be used in Bitzer Park. So in the spirit of these funds that we're getting here, what I'd like to do is to return that $50,000 donation back to the Rotary, allow them to utilize the funds for other worthy civic projects throughout the city that we may not be able to use these funds, these ARPA funds for. So we can do that by voice vote. And all we need to do is, I just need a motion to direct the Director of Finance to return the Rotary $50,000 donation.
I make a motion that we move that money back to them.
Soretta seconds.
All right, all in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Okay, motion
opposes.
Yeah. Hello?
I oppose.
All right.
Troy opposes.
Troy opposes. Passes 6-1. Okay, Patrick,
right, so,
back to you.
Thank you. So back to the Bitzer Park renovation and improvement. So we would come back on that with what we need to do to get that fine-tuned and moving forward. And we know we had some issues when we were bidding that out, but all those things we will start to address again. So pickleball and bocce courts are also things that we can do to provide, again, a more well-rounded park experience, not just necessarily one sport all the time, but add some of these things to it. And then finally, the interior build out on the lower level at Arrowhead. This was the men's and women's lockers. We're in the process of removing those lockers and doing an auction with that, but really to leverage our opportunities to grow our banquet business. And we know that as time goes on, there are fewer facilities to do that available, and that we could work on trying to build a year-round opportunity for functions there. So those were, I think, the gist of the conversations that I've had with you. I'm just reciting them here for you all to look at and to opine on. I do believe that if we move forward on this, I think from the finance director's point of view, one of the criteria that she was trying to make sure we addressed with this in step one of the audit requirements from the state is to pass some legislation that would earmark these ARPA funds
good with the Fed.
for all of these things. And if that is in fact what happens, then the administration would be charged with going out and starting to get just some ballpark estimate to put together a budget, and then working with all the individuals who want to come forward and work on any one of these components and start putting that all together, including members of council.
Thank you. That's great.
That's right.
Terrific, Pat.
Hey, Jeff, Councilman Foltz.
Yes, sir.
As chair of Park and Rec, I wholeheartedly support these improvements, as you guys would know. These are, your parks are extension of your neighborhoods. They're the face of your community where people gather, and this gives us a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, not using our local taxpayer funds to do this, but federal funds to really improve our parks. So I just think it's great that we can put this money towards our park and recreational amenities that not only that we can enjoy, but future residents and generations beyond us. So I wholeheartedly support this. I'm glad the administration is bringing it forward with this council. Thank you.
Doug, good comments, Doug. This is Retta here. One of the things I mentioned to Pat, I'm very strong about is, to make these things work, but more importantly, not only are they just, amenities that we need, but some of these things are going to make us money to help improve the other things that we need. Some of these things on this list will bring in funds, whether it be your banquet center, your different improvements to the pool and so on. So that's very important. We have this money. Let's use it to make money and make things great as we move down the road. So thank you, Pat. Very well done. Good comments that everybody put into this too. These are great things.
Hey, Pat, and everybody, I concur. I mean, and when we talk about, our destination, we already talked about that a little bit, and are we a destination city? Well, when I was younger and had my kids, and I'm sure others of you would concur, you would drive to other communities to use their parks. Mm-hmm. And so when you think about that and people coming in and with some of the accessibility that we're going to have and the different things, people will drive here and they'll get ice cream or they'll get breakfast or they'll stay for dinner, or maybe if we have a pavilion, they'll make a whole day of it. But that is what people do. I mean, people are driving to Umbrella Alley, which is an alley with umbrellas, to stay in Louisville for a duration. It's bringing them in money. So if we can keep doing more of these things, and like you said, with federal monies, I mean, this is unheard of. And we probably won't ever get this again. So I'm thrilled.
This is part of the big theme here in our city. We're adjusting ourselves and we're looking to the forward, not for what we want necessarily, but what we're looking for down the road for the betterment of our community as it evolves and changes. These are the right things to do. I know it in my heart.
Right. And Councilman Foltz weighing in again. The key is here too, it's not going towards one project and one ward. We're talking about the entire city. It's going to just, that the entire community can use. I mean, sure, we could do a street or we could do this or that, but I think you get more benefits. And I always say parks and recreation, the benefits are endless. They are. And that's why I'm so excited about this. So thanks for everybody's positive comments. This is awesome.
Yeah, Patrick, I will say this, and I can't underscore this as much. This is a monumental shift in amenities and what we are going to be able to provide for our residents. I'm through the roof excited on this, so looking forward to it.
And I would be, and again, having looked at this for the first time, I didn't get a chance to review it, but I think also I'm missing off of here was a dog park.
Yes, right.
Yeah.
That has come up in conversation.
The dog park's a great idea.
If I may interject, I refer back to our previous meeting with comments from Mr. Revolt. The advancements that we're making with bringing new businesses here, as we look maybe for the next 3, 4, 5 years, hopefully as we attract new businesses, these businesses will help us in the sustainability of our parks. And so I think also in the long run too, that whatever we can provide now for our citizens, we'll be able to, over the next 3, 4, 5 years, as we attract, businesses in here for income for the city, and I think it's going to be a good direction for us to go, put it that way. So thank you for your comments.
And it comes back to supporting our local businesses around the community, because there's plenty of big box apparatuses. We need to focus on the people that are, coming here, generating revenue, generating income, providing jobs and lifestyles and places for people to live. We also want to make sure that we do everything we can as a city to help them thrive and grow. And then in the long run, the city thrives and grows because of the revenue.
Well, too, you're right, Dom. And again, we talk about trying to attract young families here and professionals and people. Each of our parks has its own identity. And I think, Doug Fultz can comment on that too. Doug, each of our parks has a certain identity, and wherever it goes, whatever we decide on, I think is going to enhance, that park in one way, shape, or form. And so,
I mean, we have like what, 9 parks in a 6.5 mile radius.
Well, I think we have a good amount of parks. We're just using one up north.
Right. Right. And Mayor, to your comments, Councilman Fultz, Doug Wechter, Gary Wechter, what did he talk about? He talked about playing football, West Park. I mean, your memories are in your parks, and it's also an attraction to families that want to move here, besides from our great housing, schools, our infrastructure, our service, and safety forces. Our parks are a great amenity to build off of too. So, like I said, this is awesome to go forward. And when we get Dogwood done in this, you really can't ask for any more for our community, really, especially when we're not using local dollars. I mean, that is just such a home run. I mean, just such a gift, once in a lifetime opportunity.
Well, if I could add one more point, and I've talked about this when we authorized the money to renovate Dogwood Pool back, what was that, 4 or 5 years ago. I contended that, and as I contend now, that I think that's an economic driver that holds the property values up. I agree with you, Doug, on all points. So yeah, it's a great thing.
And this is Catherine. I just wanted to add one thing also to Stephanie's point about people coming from other areas to our areas. Brian Hill and I did extensive park research earlier last year. We were going around outside of our community to see what was available. And you know what? We met people from our community at Green Parks, at the dog park in Plain Township. We were introduced who we were from North Canton, and folks would say, we're from North Canton. Why don't we have this? And we were, we were cognizant of that. So, I mean, to be able to have that, and our folks don't have to travel to other communities, we can have it right here in our great backyard. This will be wonderful.
Right.
And this is a story. I just want to say this is truly a once in a lifetime opportunity. I mean, we'll never get this ever again. So looking down this list, I love that most of these things are used by pretty much anybody can come and use these. So it benefits a great deal of our community. And then second, as Mark pointed out, there's some potential to make money on this stuff to further fund other things. And then you're talking about real estate values around all these areas going up. So this is very exciting. Pairing this with Dogwood Park, I mean, you're taking the parks that are very good right now to just the complete next level. So I'm very excited about this.
Yeah.
Grab your boots, Patrick. For a ride.
Yeah, I'm not making life easier for myself, am I?
No, you are not. All right.
We are
good
we are a
stuff.
slim administration staff, but we get a lot done.
That's right. You most certainly do. Okay.
Usually, hey, one quick thing. To get things done, you don't give it to a slow person, you give it to a busy person.
That's right.
That's right.
I agree. All right, Patrick, anything else?
I think I'll work with the clerk and with the law director on what we would need to do as far as passing something by city council, to comply with that audit requirement. So we'll have something coming back that we would probably put on the next regular meeting, whenever that is.
Okay.
Okay.
In that case,
All right,
we
sounds
need a vote
great.
to move this out
Well,
of committee.
I'm sorry, Ben.
To put it
Thanks,
on
Ben.
the council agenda, we need a vote to move it out of committee.
I'll make a motion to put on for council meeting next week.
Vote second.
Well, that's a special meeting. Can we put it on the special meeting along with the door?
Yeah, we can, can't
Sure.
we?
All right.
Okay, since we're
Yeah.
having one next week, let's just do it. Okay.
Okay, there was motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. Opposed? All right, motion carries, and that's ending on a high note. So with that, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Revolt moves.
Troy seconds.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. We are adjourned. Thank you, everyone. Have a great evening.
Good night.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Good
everybody.
night. Thank you all.
Wow. Have a good night.
Did you get all